Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jewel. If you've been watching my videos and when I concluded the last project we did, the Valentine's Day project, I was telling you that my next project was going to be some little golden books. And I'm going to take you through the process of making one of these. But first of all, today, all I'm going to do is share with you how to take the books apart, how to clean the books up, especially if they're super old like this Thumbelina is. This one I have already taken apart. And I'll tell you some of the things that you may encounter that I have encountered with the super old vintage books when you take them apart. I'm also going to, we'll do that Cinderella one because let me see what year this is. This is 1973, so this is not super old. Like this Thumbelina, and I came into a problem with this one. This one's 1953, so this is 2 decades older. So I had some issues getting that cover off and making sure to restore, keep the cover so I could use it. I also had acquired these off of eBay. I got all 3 for $9, and these are vintage children's books, and there are 3 volumes, and I'm going to probably got this one and use some of these images. And these are nursery rhymes, and there's some great images in here. So I'm going to tear down this book, and if you guys don't like to see books torn apart, then don't watch this video. But I will alter this book. So I will use everything in this book, and I will use the cover as well, because you can see it's literally falling apart. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I also, I don't do a lot of altered books. I usually build my own spines, and I build the spines from beginning to end. But I use a lot of the book pages and some of the illustrations out of the Vintage Reader's Digest. This one right here is 1969. I have that one I'm going to take apart, and I have this one, 1970. I may or may not use these covers. Probably not. I don't know. So this one's in super good shape. So I could actually leave some of the pages in here, but I don't like, I don't get enough room to put cardstock and things in there, and that's a whole nother deal. Okay, so I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to tell you how I have this blade here, if I need that on this book. I did need it on this one, and I'll tell you why. These books are literally put together with staplers. So normally what I do with a little golden book is just rip, if I can. I'm trying to stay under that. Okay, see what's happening here? Now this is cracking, so I'm going to have to cut this, okay? Unfortunately, I couldn't rip this off, and I'll have to rip this part of the spine off of the papers, and that's what happened with these. If the books are in less than good condition, you may have to just do it this way. So all I'm going to do is try not to press too hard, because you'll go right through it into the pages below, and I don't want to do that. Let me see if I did. Nope, this one looks good. Maybe a tiny bit there, so I'll have to do washi tape on the end of this. And then, well, let me do the back. I might be able to rip the back off, because that part doesn't look like it's cracking, though it may when I try to pull it apart. And I don't have the strongest hands there. Okay, just pull it right apart if you can get it without, I mean, it can be there. Whew. Now this I will cut down. So this whole flap here, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it from inside and try just to stay right on that crease. And if I have to trim them, that's okay, because I'm going to show you how to build a spine for these. Now, the next thing, I'll clean that cover in a minute. I'll show you how I clean the covers. I don't clean the covers first because it makes the cardboard a little damp, and then you can't get the covers off good. Oh, I know I'm out of frame, but okay, see, now all we're left with is one staple. So I'm going to just, oops, piece of eyelash trim there. You can see I haven't cleaned my desk off from the last project. Well, I cleaned a little bit of it, but not much. So, and I'm just going to bend that back and just pull, I can see. Okay, let me scoot myself into my desk a little bit more, because I'm working way out here, and that's very hard when you're trying to get a book. Now, these come in 2 signatures, so let me just pull these apart. See, there's 1 signature and 2 signatures. So all the pages will be intact, and I'll start adding my papers in between. And so I could take these apart. I could do 2 signature little golden book. I could do a 3 signature and just split these, or I could do a 4 signature. So as I'm doing the process with you, we will do that. You can follow along with me what I decide to do. Now, what I do to clean the covers when they're super old like this, because they're dirty, these books are dirty, is I just take a baby wipe, and I may cover the back of this, though I do like this. Some of the backs of the little golden books I don't like so much. So let me just clean this off. And this one's not super dirty, but you can see it's slightly dirty. And I don't want to do too much because I don't want to take the ink off. Oh, I know what I wanted to share with you. I took apart this Snow White, and I realized on the outside of this one there was a plastic sheet on part of it. You can see the part that was not covered, and look at that. That just this much was left. Well, I tore a little bit off of here, and you can see where it didn't. Let me clean that. You can see how clean it is. So this one isn't going to take any cleaning at all. That one looks great. I think I'm probably got a glare. I'm going to put down my OttLite, and you should be able to see pretty good with my overhead lights and my window in here. Okay, so that, and I also wanted to show you something else. See, now I'm going to have to clean the back of this. It does not have the plastic paper on it, and I think I will keep the back intact and not cover it. I will have to put book corners on these because they are worn in the corners. And then we're going to build the spine to the amount of signatures. We'll probably do 1 together, but I'll prepare the pages for, maybe I'll do 3 or 4 at one time. The back of this book is all written over, and so I'm going to cover at least this part, because it's all scribbled on. And actually the whole book needs covered on the back. This is so old. That was from the Thumbelina book. Okay, so here's the Cinderella. Now this one looks like some of the cover the color has been worn off it. And that's perfectly okay. It gives it, because it is a vintage book, it gives it, you know, that worn look, because they're worn, you know, they've been loved on. So that's it with that. Now, so let's move on to gutting one of these. Now I haven't even really looked at the spine of this. Okay, see, the spine is actually just the cover right there at the spine is coming apart. So I'm not going to rip this because, well, I'm just going to cut it. There looks like there's some kind of a mesh in there. So I'm simply going to just go in like this to where I can see. Now it's cracking right there, but that's okay. I'm only going to use the front and the back, and then I'll reconstruct this spine here and make a bookmark out of it. So, all right, let me just get in there. I'm very careful with this because I want to, there we go. See, there's one part loose. Then let's go to this back cover. All right, see, that's already, it's pretty much falling apart. Yep. It's cracking. It's just literally falling apart. So here, I'm trying to save the spine so I can make it into a bookmark. I like to use all the book. These are great illustrations in this book too. Okay, now you can use your blade again, or you can just simply come in and cut these down. Whoops, I want my long scissors. Okay. Okay. Determine where you want to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it from the outside. And then we can just trim up how much we want and how big. Okay, so I'll come in, I'll trim a little bit of this off. And so there's one cover intact. I'll clean that up. Just clean it with my baby wipe. And this, as you can see, is quite worn on the corners, so I will have to do some book corners on that. But I love the illustrations. Okay, now let me show you. This one got scribbled on, so that one, there's some crayon going on there. So, but look at the illustrations in here. This has, I'm going to use some of these in my book. It's great, in my children's book. And let me see. Let's do this part here. I actually almost like using the blade better. I'll use my scissors if I need to come in and take a little bit more off. See, like this, I'm going to have to cut that. Okay. All right, so there's that cover, and here's the spine, and I will cut this down and make it into a bookmark. Probably put a little eyelet up here, and whatnot. Let me clean this up real quick. And then I can put it in my stash of covers. I have a lot of covers that, I don't know, maybe I'll sell them. I'll never make books out of all of them. I use the book pages more than the books because I build my own spines. So, okay, look how dirty that was. It's probably, I could probably do a little bit more, but I don't want the cardboard to melt. Now, the Reader's Digest is going to be a similar way. This one is in such good shape, but let me see if I want any of these papers before I cut it down. That's a violent illustration. I won't use that. I have a ton of old book pages over there, so I don't see anything like I'm like thrilled about in here. That's a pretty illustration. I'll use up what I have. This one I will cut down because it's, you can see it's getting very worn. So, and I'll use this as a bookmark, and it won't necessarily be in a book, it may be in one of my other journals. So I just like, and I love to keep the front pages too. So what we're going to do is there again, let me just, I'm going to put it this way so I can start it there. Yeah, this is pretty, when you hear that sound, you know it's pretty all, the book is all dried out, and the spine, you know, the book cover. And then just go in here. And see the whole top part, look at that. So this is literally just, it's falling apart. So I really don't, there, that just came right apart. And then I'll just trim this off, and then I'll clean my book again. So there's one cover. And I want to try to save as much of this spine as I can. Sometimes I can't save them. It just depends on where the book sat. If it sat in a cellar somewhere, or, you know, in a dried old place. I'm going to just use this blade again here. There we go. So there's the other half of the cover. There's something on here, but if I can't get that off, you know, so you have to clean up your covers if you're going to use them. But more than likely something will be wrapped around here anyways, as I will build the spine out of chipboard, and I use Graphics chipboard. It is acid free, and that's what I build my covers out of, and in a lot of my projects I don't really use packaging. Okay, now we're going to take the papers out, and usually, there we go, you can kind of rip them right out. We can take more of this. I love to keep these book plate covers. Let's just rip this off here, because you can see the binding it's glued. It's a glued binding, so you just got to rip them apart. And then I don't take all the pages apart. I will go through and then take some pages. Now I'll use this illustration because I do a lot of nature themed journals, so that I'll use. So basically from here you You can just rip your pages out. Try to get as much of the cardboard, though, off the spine as you can, so you don't, you know, you don't rip the pages too much when they come out. I'm not going to use that. I'll dig them out. I'll dig that cardboard off. So sometimes I'll go in and just pull this, and I can also just come in like this and take a page out like that. So look, there's some more. That's another beautiful image. So that's it. That's all for today, guys. I'm not feeling the best. I'd start these little golden books today, but I'm very low, I should say, out of my coffee dyed, tea dyed, and my stained paper. So I'm going to have to do that on Monday, and then I might be able to come back on Monday afternoon to start the process of building the journal. Okay, I hope this helped a little bit. All right, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.